Your financial journey is heavily impacted by where you live. Low cost of living cities make it a lot easier for you to do things like pay off your debt and hit your financial goals. This video is sponsored by the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and today I'm speaking with General Manager of the restaurant Bubba Southern Comforts. Her name is Kate Willer, and she's going to be telling us all about her move from New York City to Des Moines, Iowa, and how that's helped her financially and with her career. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. So today we're going to be talking to Kate. Let's go ahead and get her onto the channel.
All right, Kate, welcome to the Debt Free Millennials channel.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay, so first things first, what made you want to work in the restaurant industry?
I've always been a people person. I was a performer for a while before I got into this career line, and it was just a great way to be around a lot of people. Things are ever changing every day, different scenarios, and really just the warmth and hospitality aspect of it, being able to take care of people and help people celebrate and that kind of thing is just a great feeling.
Do you feel like growing up in Iowa influenced that decision at all?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that the general hospitality vibe of hey, your family, come on in is like a very Midwestern thing. And I definitely feel it in Iowa. My family always had somebody at the dinner table joining us, whether it was a friend of me or my sibling or, my parents' friends or a coworker or something. So I just think that it's always just like a friendly welcome vibe here.
Yeah, I totally get that. Growing up in Kansas, that's the Midwest hospitality coming through. So I could totally see how that influences your decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand you lived in New York City for over a decade,
Yeah.
and then you made the leap to go back to Iowa. So tell me about that process. What factors, influenced your decision to move back?
Yeah, I mean, when I left Des Moines to go to college, I never thought I would end up back in Iowa, and just wanted to go explore. And it ended up taking me to New York for 12 years after school. And, a lot of things went into play. Just basically, I mean, the biggest overview of it all, I guess, would be the ability to find kind of a work-life balance. Um, in New York, it is go, 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 and everything is crazy expensive. And, as I love New York, I still love it to this day. But the ability to be able to just slow down, still have a really great work ethic and amazing job and career opportunity, but be able to slow down, make that paycheck worth a little bit more, and have a little more life with that work
Mm.
was really great. I mean, my family is all here, so that of course is a huge draw. But the city here as well is a completely different place than when I grew up. I mean, it is a really cool city. And so there's so many things here to experience that I never thought would be. So it's a really been a great change.
Sounds like New York really has that hustle mentality, and you were looking for something that could balance both, work and life. But also, you mentioned, Des Moines really thriving as a city now, still getting all of that cultural experience from a
Yeah,
city.
I mean, the food scene here has blown up dramatically. The arts and culture, music, I mean, all that kind of stuff is so amazing that I never knew was here. I remember coming home and visiting on Christmas or whatever, and my parents were like, "Oh, we got to take you to this new restaurant. We got to take you to this new shop. We got to take you to this new museum. There's this cool band playing or art festival." And so there was always something new, and I kept thinking, "Wow, like these are pretty awesome. Like this was never around." And the fact that our city has sort of a small town feel in the people and get to know you way, but still like a little bit more of a big city feel in all of the activity and opportunity that's around is pretty cool.
Awesome, awesome. So, how has living in Iowa really contributed to your financial stability in your career?
Well, first I can say it was about 3 times as expensive to live in New York as it is in Des Moines. I had a condo there and I have a condo here, and it is incredible. Um, Not only what you can, the difference in price being so much less, but what you get for that price. For example, in New York, I had an alcove studio, which is basically a 1 bedroom with like a little room that your bed a little L that your bed fits in, and for, a third of the price here in Des Moines, I bought a 2 bedroom condo with full wraparound patio, so we get the outdoors as well, which is not something you get in a New York apartment. And then was all able to renovate it and make it exactly the place that I want, because there was, money to spare at that point. If you give the comparison, I have more room than I know what to do with or need now, but I've got room for all my friends to come visit and spend the night instead of getting a hotel. So it's an incredible difference in that. I've bought a car, all that kind of
Wow.
stuff that you don't have.
So what square footage was your New York apartment?
I think it was about 600 square feet.
And how big is your place in Des Moines now?
1,600.
So you've literally, for a third of the price, you added 1,000 square feet to your
Yeah, it's
living
pretty
arrangement.
crazy, right?
So crazy. And I feel you on space and how much it can just be so expensive and detrimental to your budget, because living out in San Diego, our rent is $2,800 per month.
Yeah,
I,
it's insane.
I could only imagine what it was in New York. Would you mind sharing how much you were paying in rent in New York?
I owned my last place for about 9 years, so I've got to think back. But I know that at one point I was paying 1,700, and that was for 1 bedroom in a 3 bedroom place. Well, a two
Wow.
bedroom that was converted, and half the kitchen was made into a 3rd bedroom. So like I said, what you get for what you pay is quite different. Uh,
Big difference.
yeah.
So, along with your living arrangements and your mortgage and whatnot, what ways do you feel that your income goes farther in Iowa? I mean, it's got to be everything from groceries to gas.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Groceries definitely see a big difference. I feel like even little things like your haircut and, it's travel expense is a little different because it was a lot of trains, but still that adds up versus a car and gas. But I know when I did rent a car, to be able to get around in the city, gas there was crazy, expensive. It was, I mean, upwards of $5, $6 compared to what is it here, two something.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, really everything has that comparison. I feel like a lot of the benefits here for, working healthcare and stuff like that I also see the difference there.
Mm.
Not only just the price of the healthcare, but what is offered. Some don't have medical, dental, vision, 401k, all that kind of stuff. A lot of things there would have a piece of that, but not all of it. So those kind of things are great too.
Yeah, I heard Iowa has been recognized for low healthcare costs and their low cost of living. So I can totally see how things like even a bottle of wine costs like 40% less than it does in New York. And then also low healthcare costs. I mean, it just seems like all around your money is going to go farther when you make that move to a place like Iowa.
Yeah, it is. I feel like, um, you know, going to get the concert ticket or the ticket to, a special gala or something like that, they're a lot more accessible here. And because you have, that better buffer of pricing on a lot of your monthly, bills, it makes it easier to say yes to that. That's another thing that I think is so great here is I found that, the city is very charitable. And I mean that by the people, not just organizations. Like everybody gets super involved in all kinds of organizations. I am always impressed by the amount of money raised and given to nonprofits and that kind of thing. And I think that is another example of how people have the money to be able to do it. And I'm always shocked by the amounts that I see at those events. And those events, something I can be a part of now, which I wasn't always in the other world. So
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like because things are so much cheaper. I mean, I've heard housing is 85% cheaper, that healthcare costs is 13% cheaper. If you are saving on those basic needs, then you're able to give back and do these things to help your community.
yeah, I think it really makes sense why there is such a community vibe here. People can be more involved and in turn meet more people. Like I meet more people that I never thought I would meet. I wouldn't meet them through my work or my family or friend group, necessarily, but I meet them through the other organizations, that I get involved with, or charity events, or festivals that pop up that I meet people walking around, kind of thing. It's just I feel like it definitely creates a bigger sense of community, which is really nice.
Okay, so tell me about your lifestyle in Iowa. Does it seem dramatically different than how it was in New York?
I mean, you take your lifestyle and you live the way you're comfortable within your means, right? I mean, dramatically different in that I can do a little bit more. Yeah, for sure. Dramatically different in that yes, I've worked like a crazy person. That's the restaurant industry, but no matter where you are, but it's different. It's different hours. It's different amount of people doing different work. So it really gives you the time to be able to, go see my family and take days that aren't holidays to go do stuff with them. We're going sledding today. Oh, cool, great. I can go do that. Just simple things like that are much easier to be able to say, yeah, I can rearrange a schedule and be available. And oh, there's a cool concert I want to go see. Sure, like I can move things around so much easier now to be able to have those things. Like we're gonna do dinner at this time with friends. Great, I can make that happen. I mean,
Yeah,
little things like that are so much easier to do here.
it sounds like there's just overall more flexibility in your schedule.
Yeah, I think so. And I just think that's again kind of the way that the city works, and everybody wants the hard work and wants all that when you are there, but also knows that having a life outside of the job is a part of life. And sometimes in New York, that's not the case.
So you moved back to Iowa in 2016,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so about 5 years ago.
Yeah, almost 5.
So in retrospect, what would you say to your friends back in New York, if they questioned your move about moving back to Iowa?
Um, I would say that I think in any decision that you make, obviously do what makes sense. But I have had big more career I've gone farther in my career here than I could have there in the time span. There's just so many more people and so many more steps there to move forward. A big part of why I wanted to move back to was I was given the opportunity to take a giant leap upwards in my career path. Opening my own place, being the general manager to start with was, I was an assistant general manager and a beverage director in New York, but there was going to be a long time before, there was going to be a spot open on the next level to move up, because, people really, once you get in those high positions there, they stay for 20 something years.
Wow.
So the opportunity to be able to move up and really have those challenges for my career were something that has been invaluable, and I can't tell you how much I've learned
Love
just
it.
by jumping into that spot.
Speaking of your learning experiences, this channel is all about helping millennials on their financial journey and paying off their debt. So I'd love to know, in your experience, what's one piece of financial advice that you wished you would have received early on in life?
Let's see. Wished I would have received. I think that it's never too early to start savings or retirement funds.
Yes.
Even if it's $5 a week, like, do something. The earlier, the better, I think. It takes a little bit of that stress off of knowing that, when things come down to it, you're going to have a backup. I think that's probably the thing I wish I would have done earlier than I did.
Yes, yes. A little bit goes a long way. And I would gather that now that you are back home, that it makes it so much easier to invest in your retirement and set aside that money because you're not, blowing it on things like a high mortgage payment in New York and the high cost of living.
Yeah, exactly. And I say, if you can set it up to just automatic so you don't ever even see it, like your paycheck number is the new number without that. So you don't even it's like the best thing. And one day you go look at your account, you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot I was doing that for myself. Like it's really great and it's important. And you're like, oh, good, I was being smart. And then it's all, oh, look at me,
Check. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So, my last question for you today is, what advice would you give people who are thinking about making the move to Iowa, and especially those people who are interested in having a career in the restaurant industry?
I say go for it. My motto in life really is, if you're looking at something and making a decision that's really hard, if you feel 90% good about it, or 95% good about it, and 5 to 10% a little scared about it, that's probably good. Like, you probably should do it. It's that little fear factor is something that's going to really push you and be great. It's done me well in my life to think that way. I say, you can always move. When I came back too, I can always go back. If I come and I say, oh, it was a great try, but it ended up not being for me, you can always pick back up, get in the car and go, right? But honestly, every fear that was part of my move has gone away. You'll always miss the place that you were because of different things that exist there versus here, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Just quality of life, give yourself a chance.
Awesome. I love it. And I'm very excited to actually, bonus question at the end. What if somebody was to come to Bubba Southern Comforts to try out something on the menu, what's the one thing that we should try?
Ooh, that is so hard. Like, maybe choose my favorite child, which I don't have, but Bubba is my child. Bubba is my baby. I would say, we hang our hat on fried chicken, so I would say fried chicken or chicken fried steak is a can't mess it up, and gotta have a bourbon to go with it. So that's
yes,
those two things, you cannot go wrong with us.
You are speaking my language. I cannot wait to make a special trip out there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the channel and just sharing your wisdom.
Oh, please come see me when you come.
Will do. All right. Thanks.
Take care.
Super inspiring to hear about Kate's journey, not only with her career in the restaurant industry, but also her financial path by making that move from New York to Iowa. So if you want to learn more about living in Iowa and all of its affordability benefits, be sure to check out thisisiowa.com using the link in the description box below. And if you want to learn more about Bubba Southern Comforts and the restaurant that Kate is managing, which sounds amazing, I might have to take a special trip to Iowa just to eat at this restaurant, be sure to check out bubbadsm.com using the link in the description box below.